What up, comic book fam? Happy new comic book day, September 22nd, 2021. It's a 14 book week for me, so let's get right through it. Let's go. As usual, starting with DC Comics, we've got Looney Tunes 262. This is one that I've been picking up for my daughter because I'm very much trying to get my kids hooked on comics early, so I buy this one for her every time it comes out. Next up from DC, we've got Catwoman 35, the B cover from Jenny Frison. I actually have not been reading Catwoman, but I've been picking up these Frison covers since 30 or so. I do plan to eventually read it because I hear it's a great story from Rom V, but for now I'm just cover whore buying these bad boys. Cannot get enough of Jenny Frison, love her style. Still with DC Comics, we've got Nightwing 84 from Tom Taylor. This jumps off the Fear State story in the Nightwing book. I am actually enjoying Fear State. We finally have got this thing popping off, and I'm really interested to see what Tynan's gonna do with it. Next up, Batman Secret Files Miracle Molly. We're getting an origin story for Miracle Molly. I find her interesting. I kind of like her attitude, so excited to jump in on this one and learn more about her. Next up, we've got Batman 113, continuing the Fear State story that James Tynan's been building for some time. I am excited to jump in on this one. As I said, I am enjoying the build up here. Cannot wait to see what Scarecrow is gonna do here. And last from DC Comics, I have been pulling in all of James Tynan's run, going back to 85. I first jumped in at 101, have been collecting since there, but I've slowly but surely been working on building the back issues going back to the beginning of Tynan. But I went ahead and grabbed Batman 100 from my local shop because this was one that I didn't have in the run. So excited to add this to the list. Loving me some James Tynan IV, so I'm all in on whatever he writes. Moving on to Marvel Comics, we've got Alien #7. This is starting a new arc in the series, so if you haven't been in with 1 through 6, I'm told there's no issues with just jumping in here if you're interested in it. I am liking this story. It's nothing to write home about. I'm not going around telling everybody they gotta read it, but it's been good enough for me to continue with it, so here we are with #7. Still with Marvel Comics, we've got Moon Knight #3. I am really enjoying this series. I thought it had a great start with 1 and 2, and now with 3, we're introducing a new character, Hunter's Moon. I don't know if he's important, I don't know if he matters, but that's a dope cover, and I'm excited to read this one. Next up from Aftershock Comics, we've got Bunny Mask #4. Now, I already read this one, and this book continues to be weird as hell. Hard to get a grasp on exactly what's happening here. I actually plan to go back and read 1 through 4 again just to reacquaint myself with the story. But I like Bunny Mask. I like the weirdness of it. I like the confusion of it. It's been enough to keep me interested in finding out what the hell is going on. So continuing on with Bunny Mask #4. Moving on to Boom Studios, we've got Dark Blood #3. This story was off to a shaky start for me. It's been a little all over the place and hard to grasp and keep track of, but the whole subject matter, the setup of it is definitely in my wheelhouse, something that I'm interested in. A black man coming back from World War II, dealing with the social inequalities that existed in this country at the time. I like that story, I like that setup, interested in continuing with #3. Still with Boom Studios, we've got Eat the Rich #2. The first one wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I am very much an eat the rich, tax the rich sort of fellow. It's who I am. So I was very much interested in a story that goes at that angle. I'm still up in the air about how I feel about this one, but the first one was interesting enough and the subject matter was interesting enough for me to stick with it for #2. Moving on to Image Comics, we've got Siphon #3. I did not know this until I read this just now, but this is actually the end of this first arc, the endo. So there's only 3 issues in this story, but it was a good story. I enjoyed it. I liked the thought process it went through for me. I think the theme of it is the world is a terrible place with a lot of terrible things going on, and we can always use that fact as a reason to not do better, to not do the right thing. But We've got to make that choice to do better individually, regardless of the hopelessness of the overall, because without those individual choices, it will never get better no matter what. So I really enjoyed the theme. At least that's what I got from this story. Recommend it if you like that theme. Jump in on this one. Siphon number 3. Still with Image Comics, we've got Second Chances number 2. I am not the biggest fan of black and white art, and this is a black and white art book. But the first story was interesting enough for me to stick around. We've got this guy who helps people move on to other lives and get a second chance, as it were. Now that's really the gist of what I understand at this point. I actually did just read this one, but I was a little lost. I'm gonna need to go back and read number 1. But it's interesting, I like it. So if that setup sounds interesting to you, I jump in on this one. Still with Image Comics, we've got Vinyl number 3. This is a messed up serial killer type book. I'm confused. I don't really understand it. We have this serial killer who's trying to save this FBI agent, which I don't quite understand that. And he's pulling in a number of his serial killer friends to do this job together. It's a weird book, a lot of violence in this book. So if you're not down for violence, you're definitely going to avoid this one. But I like the art in this one. The art has really been popping for me on here. So I would check this one out if that interests you at all. And last but not least, from Image Comics and for my haul this week, we've got The Old Guard, Tales Through Time number 6. This is the final issue in this 6-issue series. I have not actually read this one. I started pulling this one because I really enjoyed the Charlize Theron movie on Netflix based on this book. I thought it was cool. I like immortality. I like stories that can go all the way back to the beginning of time. That really fascinates me. So that was the reason why I jumped in on 1 through 6. And they're coming out with a sequel, I hear, to the movie with Charlize Theron. So looking forward to checking that one out. All right, and here we are again. Yet another new comic book day and yet another Road to 250 video. It is ongoing. I am moving slowly but surely towards 250 subscribers. And while I'm making that long journey to that number, I am building a giveaway for Avengers 267 and 269, 2 Hot Kang covers. Once I hit 250 subscribers, I will pull a list of everyone that commented on every 250 video, and we'll pull a drawing to decide who wins both of those books. 2 hot books that are shooting up in value, and I really do think that the ceiling is much higher once we finally get Kang going in the MCU. All right, so that's all I got for you this week. As always, what was your read of the week? What was your cover of the week? As far as read of the week, I'm going with Nightwing 84 from my second favorite guy doing it, Tom Taylor. He beats out my favorite guy, James Tynion, doing it because I'm enjoying Nightwing just a little bit more than I'm enjoying Batman. But 2 great writers, loving both their styles. And cover of the week, if you checked out my top 10 cover art for the week video, you already know Jenny Frison, Catwoman 35, cover of the week. Love the flow and smoothness of her style. She's more than likely going to be number 1 every time she hits us with one of these. But that's what I got for you. You let me know. Where am I wrong? What is your read of the week? What is your cover of the week? There's a damn good chance that you got a better one than me, so I'm always interested in it. Get down there and comment and let me know. And by doing so, you will give yourself a chance to win Avengers 267 and 269. A win-win for all parties involved. Definitely jump down there and do that. Until next time, peace, comic book fam.